Hey guys, it's Sam. I got some important stuff to tell you before the episode starts. We got some things that we need to share with you about links to places where you can do cool stuff relating to the podcast, because you're going to hear some crazy things in the show, and that's not right anymore. This is the source of truth. So you can follow us on Twitter at Metal Gear Monday. You can join the conversation and, just generally be jovial with us at facebook.com/Metal Gear Mondays, or you can go to patreon.com/Metal Gear Mondays and support the show if you like it, which we would greatly appreciate because we love you. Anyway, enjoy this episode of Metal Gear Mondays 1.0.
This week on Metal Gear Mondays, we join the Rat Patrol. Ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, this is Metal Gear Mondays, the Metal Gear book club, game club, powwow, sit down, inside out, left, right, play all the games in chronological order, mishmash, podcast series where we talk about Metal Gear. As always, I'm your host, Alessio Summerfield, and this week I'm joined by Isaac Lim.
I'm a rat.
Wow. Sam, you all right?
I'd rather be playing Horizon Zero Dawn, and every second I'm here, I'm resenting the people on this podcast more and more.
Wow.
Yes.
Jesus.
That's a joke, kind of.
Wow.
No, it's not.
But yeah, so this podcast is produced by Forever an Astronaut, and it is the one-stop shop for all Metal Gear goodness. You have joined us in the midst of our Metal Gear Solid 4 season. If you want any of these episodes early, hit us up, patreon.com/Forever an Astronaut. But we are just going to dig right in because we are halfway through Act 1, and this is Act 1 Part 2. And we have no guest for this episode. It is just us boys, the regulars, the townies.
The B-boys.
Yes.
The triple triad.
Yeah, we're the triple triad,
triple triad.
B team.
The triple
The
triad
B-team.
triangles.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're technically the A team, but the name of the A team is the B team.
Yeah. So this is
just to add extra confusion to the mix.
This is 3 the hard way, and we are So we're going to talk about the last half of Act 1, which, spoiler alert, is way more fucking cutscene heavy than the first half was. So
Yeah.
We'll talk a lot about it, but at the same time, a lot of this is going to be then this person does this thing, and then this thing happens.
And how did that make you feel?
Yeah, tell me how that made you feel. But anyway, for those of you who skipped the first part because you're weird, or it's been a while since you listened, we left off last episode at the Advent Palace.
No.
Isaac.
No.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
No.
You just got really far into it, and I was getting worried.
You sounded like the interstate dividing line when you get too close to the edge.
No.
So Sam, would you like to introduce what was about to come out of your mouth?
Yeah, I'd like to introduce a segment that we like to call Fumbling in the Dark with Isaac Lim.
Isaac, what happened
Who's
last
that? Let me drink some water real quick, quench my thirst.
You knew what was happening. You knew it was coming. You didn't. You planned this. You're stalling.
I didn't plan a thing. I just come and show up.
And that's how the show gets made.
Last week on Metal Gear Mondays, we played Metal Gear Solid 4, and it was fun. Act 1, Liquid Sun.
I thought that was
you
a
want
great
me to tell
rendition.
you what we did?
Yes, Isaac, what happened?
We did a lot of shooting and street shootings, and we did some hiding and dodging and robbing and stealing, and then we're here at the palace.
Well,
Who knows?
This is apt
You just, like,
observations.
beautifully condense that down into a couple of words.
Yeah, so don't listen to that 2-hour whatever that was last week.
Yeah, we got you. That's why we do this. This is a service we provide.
Yep, that's gonna be $3.50, please. Anyway,
Yes.
so yeah, where we left off was in the Advent Palace, and we're gonna kind of take it floor by floor, if that works for you guys.
Floor by floor.
So it's a pretty large building. It's got a big middle courtyard area. I feel like I'm your DM right now. So you find yourself in a large building with a.
Can I do a perception check to see what's here?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, hold on. It's 13 plus 2. Okay, I got 16.
Okay, so
What do I see?
So you actually perceived that last episode we forgot to mention that Otacon told us that there were some informants here that knew about Liquid's whereabouts and that we need to meet them here. And we skipped over that last episode. So your perception was so good that you saw into the past and realized what was missing.
Damn, I need to nerf my character.
Yeah, it's crazy. Did you pre-roll that or did you print it off the internet?
Yeah, no, I pre-rolled it before the episode started.
Very cool. But yeah, also I do want to point out the interior map in here is pretty legit. Like straight up, like almost like Silent Hill level. Like this door is locked, this stairwell is blocked. Like I don't know, they do a lot of cool stuff with the map. We totally didn't mention this last episode either because I'm stupid. The solid eye, when you got it earlier in the act, actually gives Snake like a top right radar system that shows like heartbeats and like awareness and
The
stuff
heat.
like that. And the heat signatures. So yeah, so we do have a little bit of a radar. But yeah, and just while we're on the topic of things that we forgot to mention, the reload trick doesn't work. Did you guys notice that?
Oh yeah. I was like,
so
man, that's
that
so
sucks.
dumb.
Yeah, so you have to press zero. You have to press circle to like while your weapon. I guess it doesn't even have to be out. It has to be out, but you don't have to be aiming or anything. You just press circle to reload. And also from the pause menu, you can totally see the Nomad's camera where Otacon's hanging out, and there's a little girl in the footage, which I thought was interesting.
Creepy, if you will.
Yeah, a little creepy.
Ominous, even.
But yeah. So yeah, why is there a grown man with like a small child somewhere? But yeah, so I don't know. There's not much to explore here on this bottom floor. I mean, I found a trap. And I want to talk to you guys. When did you discover that there were traps?
So I've discovered there were traps when this sounds like an AA meeting. So
I discovered traps.
I first discovered traps when I was 14.
Been trapping ever since.
trapping all damn night. Hannah Montana. Sorry. Anyway,
What?
that's a song. It's very good.
I believe
It's
you.
called Hannah Montana.
Trapping Hannah
Hannibal
Montana.
Montanable. All right.
Hannah Montana. But anyway, so I was going up to the first flight of stairs, and there was something standing on the landing, and me, being me, looked at it and said, "Ooh, it's shiny," and I walked into it, and it was a sleep gas mine. So I was just waiting there to wake up, and I was like, "God damn it, I'm only crawling from now on."
I love how they do that because there's not even any enemies yet. So you're just like asleep in an empty hallway.
Yeah.
At least they were nice to you though. They're
They
just like, we're gonna
prod you
teach
into
you.
it. Yeah.
When there's no enemies around here. Learn your lesson.
Yeah.
I did
Isaac,
I did kind of the same thing, except I went up this flight of stairs and I was like, that looks bad. But then I walked into it anyway.
Sure, as one does.
Yeah, exactly. That's
Because I don't know.
So did you guys go up the? So did you guys go up? Because there's two sets of stairs at the bottom. I totally just didn't go up one of them because I assume it's blocked.
It is.
Okay.
The-
Because then
yeah,
I went
one of
because I
them.
was going around just kind of taking notes and looking at everything, and so I noticed my first trap on the ground in front of the other staircase, and I shot it immediately. And like in past games, the tranquilizer darts never really set off. At least not that I noticed. I don't think you can you can't disarm the bombs on the tanker in like Metal Gear Solid 2 with the trank gun. I don't think you have to use like the actual gun. So I had my trank gun and I was like, oh, this isn't even gonna detonate it. And then to my surprise, like lo and behold, you can detonate like anything with the trank gun. So I was like, oh, okay, the Mark II kicks ass. So I started doing that. However, and maybe this was my hubris, But I later on the
hubris.
second floor, as I went up, I was like, "Oh, cool, some stun grenades," and just like booked it like right after I had disarmed the trap. I was like, "Oh, cool," and then the moment I like went over there, it was just like, boom, and I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
great,
So
thank you."
So you can actually crawl over these like regular mines to pick them up too.
Yeah, I assumed.
Oh.
I don't know why I just shot them all like an idiot, but
Yeah, I did the
that's
same
what, that's
thing.
what I did. But yeah. Anyway, there's a bunch of weird nonsensical shit. I mean, we don't necessarily have to go through all of this stuff, but you find like some like essentially it's like a blown out like destroyed building. So you're finding like restrooms that are in disrepair. There's like smoke grenades and like oddly enough, there's a lot of cup noodles in the building, which I kind of discovered. I did pull up the item finder or the item viewer to look at the cup noodle and found a couple funny things. So underneath on the bottom of the cup noodle, it says metal cup. And then if you look on the side and even on the description, it's called Hide-chan. So I guess it's Hideo's ramen. And then it's got a Kojima Productions logo on the side, which cracked me up. But yeah, so you kind of keep going. Did you guys stumble across the laser grid guarding the hole?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
with a hole.
Okay, so I guess you do have to come across it first before you kind of go up. But yeah, so I discovered it, and then Otacon came on the codec and was like, "Hey, that don't do that. There's mines there."
What was that, Alessio?
I don't know, Sam. Why don't
Did you just say,
why don't you tell me?
Des mines there?
Yeah. So that's
No.
that's a thing. I didn't trip them or anything. Do you guys know what happens if you trip them? I guess
You
game over.
die.
No clue. I probably die. Did you die, Isaac?
Yes, I died. I thought you could crawl under it. So I
Oh
was like,
yeah,
I'll do
that was
that.
misleading. I totally thought you
And
could
then-
too, but I was like, I'll come back.
Yeah, I died.
You died.
I do it for the cause. Yeah.
We have to attack every angle, or Isaac's the one who gets
Yeah.
the death angle.
Yep. But yeah, so we hit up floor 3 because the other side's blocked off. I got Claymored again on floor 3 because I found an iPod song and was like, "Oh, cool, an iPod song." Boo.
It's like a kid with ADD.
Yeah, I'm just like, oh, I didn't learn my lesson the first
oh,
time.
Shit. An iPod song.
Oh.
A physical MP3.
I feel like anybody would be like, "What? Is that an MP3 on the ground?" But yeah, so it's the level 3
MP3
warning
given
music.
form.
But yeah, and then on the roof, it looks like there's vent access. Did you guys go through this vent access up on the roof?
No.
No.
I didn't know there was one.
Okay, so I saw it and I was like, I'll get to that later, and then I accidentally triggered the cutscene here in a little bit instead. So I never ended up going in the vent, but I did see I was like, oh, there's regain on the bar. Let me go grab that. And like the way the regain sticks out, it kind of felt like the health potions in Silent Hill. I was like, is that a little health pick me up over there? So I went and grabbed it, and then there was a bunch of ammo in the kitchen, more cup noodles, and then you go down this back hall and we trigger what appears to be a 5-part cutscene, you guys.
It's a good.
So, yeah, I didn't
It's a monster.
I didn't time it, so I don't know how long it is, but it's a little hefty. The cuts in this scene are quite long.
We need to start measuring time in Metal Gear as like ladder climbs. This cutscene was 4 ladder climbs long. Ladder bosses long.
Yeah, this cutscene is... Yeah, so I discovered another ladder sequence that might be as long, if not longer, than the Metal Gear Solid 3. Well, it's probably not longer. It's impossible. But so before Nier Automata comes out in March, or this month, Tuesday, actually, the day after you're listening to this, I was like, I've collected all the weapons in Nier, but I've only gotten ending A and B. So I was like, I'm going to get endings C and D. So I'm trying to do that before the second one comes out. And I found in the Lost Shrine of that game, there are like 3 comparable ladders to the Metal Gear one, which I'm pretty sure if you combine them, might be as long as the Metal Gear one. So thanks Japanese devs with the long ladders. But yeah. Anyway, so what happens in this cutscene, Isaac? Do you have any recollection?
There's a lot that happens. What am I supposed to tell you? I
Fair
don't know
enough.
what you want me to
I accept your rebuttal.
I mean, there's a lot of poop going on and a lot of
Yeah.
gasping, and you're like, oh my gosh.
Shitless wonder makes
That
him
happened?
back to the palace somehow without getting killed.
Yeah, so the doo-doo man from before is
The
back.
doo-doo man.
he holds Snake up, which I wrote in my notes as embarrassing for Snake. But Doodoo Man makes some comments that are similar to Meryl in her rookie comments, and right as I thought that, there was like a press X flashback sequence, so I was like, okay, cool. Then
He even says the same thing. He
Yeah.
says, you didn't take the safety off, rookie.
yeah.
That's when the flashback happened. He said, you didn't take the safety off, rookie. And he said, I'm no rookie. I'm a 10-year vet.
Yep.
Indicating that you may have seen this guy before.
Yeah. And then we hear a very familiar voice, and I was like, ooh. And as the voice gets closer, Snake does this real dope leg choke. Like, I feel like Snake in general is like way more fluid than we give him credit for as an old man. Because like, he almost puts MGS3 Snake to shame with just how like real quick and like unassuming he is to just like put you in a fucking chokehold with his legs while he's aiming a gun at your buddy. Like, he's real fast.
Well, if we're being fair about it, though, I mean, I know he's an old man, but he's still like Snake.
Yeah, it's
And
true.
like,
He's still Snake.
if we're being fair, Big Boss in Metal Gear Solid 3 was still kind of a rookie, and this Snake has been doing it for a fucking long ass time.
That's true. Fair enough.
So,
Also, I think he mentioned something about his suit giving him that
Oh, that's
agility.
Yeah, so we do find
And
out later
strength.
that Snake's sneaking suit counts as like a exoskeleton kind of
Oh.
muscle suit.
Oops, did I just
No. You're fine. We don't have to. I mean, we don't have to hit them in order, Isaac.
I was too excited.
But the
Isaac, you're fired from the podcast.
the thing I do want to touch on though is I spotted a little foxhound patch on the woman talking to Snake, and then a familiar face comes back. Isaac,
Aw.
can you tell me what you felt in your heart when this happened?
A little heart palpitation, and my heart
Ooh.
stopped. I don't know. I said,
Did you expect it?
when I saw the fox patch, I was expecting somebody familiar. I just didn't know who. Could have been Mei Ling. You never know.
That would have been amazing.
Would have been amazing.
But yeah, so old Meryl's back. So Meryl
Yes.
Silverberg herself is back, and some weird things are afoot because. So we also find out that. I mean, I'm pretty sure we can say it at this point. So Johnny from Metal Gear Solid 1 is now being called Akiba, and he's the doo-doo boy from before.
Annoying.
Yeah, so
Poopy man.
somehow Akiba has been like following Meryl ever since. And I
Can you blame
talk
him?
about it. I feel like they over explain the fuck out of everything in this game, so I'm sure we'll find out how that happened. But essentially Meryl introduces you to her team, which now she's essentially saying that they've been tasked with investigating PMC activity, and that ever since her and Snake last saw each other, that she's like she essentially makes it sound like she was kind of waiting for Snake, and she wanted to validate herself to Snake, and then she essentially says a line about like dashing aside like that love nonsense and just kind of taking her shit seriously. So she's been kind of moving up the ranks and has been very clearly, you can tell that the nanomachines in her body kind of suppress her emotions, which actually, if you read the instruction manual for Metal Gear Solid 1, you can find out that even as far back as then, the nanomachines in Meryl's body were actually preventing her from feeling love because it was like a weakness or whatever.
I mean, it suppresses her emotions, but like when she finds out who sent Snake,
Yeah,
she
she
gets
loses it.
real mad about her Dunkle Roy.
Yeah, for a short second, she gets real pissed. But anyway, so she
And men in general, it was really weird.
yeah,
Kind of uncomfortable.
yeah, a little bit. She kind of flips, but
She flips
She-
a lot of things.
she introduces us to her Genu Force that she's got, the Rat Patrol Team 01.
You got token black guy Ed. You got alert hair Jonathan.
Oh yeah, good old alert hair. Never stand behind him.
Oh man, it's fucking hilarious because Ed is just like the black dude. He's like tough black guy, and then she introduces Jonathan, and he sits up, and you see that he has a mohawk, and when she introduced him, he sits up, and his hair, the back of his mohawk is cut like an exclamation mark, and when he sits up, it plays the alert sound.
Yeah, it scared the shit out of me. I was like, what?
It did to me too.
But But yeah. And so we've got Ed, Jonathan, Meryl, and Johnny. I guess Akiba, for lack of a better way to refer to him, since there are multiple Johnnies.
Doo-doo man.
But yeah, so, and then Snake makes a dad joke, and he's like, first hounds, now rats. So it's like, all right.
Good one.
Way to be a dick, Snake. You can, one thing that, this moment kind of broke my heart, you guys. Meryl hands Snake some documents and says, hey, it's been 4 days since we've seen Liquid, but he's been in the area. And Snake's looking at the documents, and if you hold L1 to look at it, you see it from his perspective, and it's pretty clear for a second, and then it starts to get really fucking blurry. And when you let go of L1, you see that Snake's like squinting and like trying to adjust the distance of the paper in front of him.
Aw.
And like Meryl comes up and like puts a hand on his shoulder, and there's like this moment of like, oh shit, dude, like you're kind of losing
Your
it.
eyes suck.
Yeah, and I felt really like for a moment I was like, God damn, like just real
Yeah.
wounded warrior. Like Snake's an old man now. Did you guys catch that at all?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, it was like super
Fucking
upsetting.
Depressing.
But yeah, so like we mentioned before, Snake just Meryl kind of lectures Snake about how bummed out she was that Snake left for philanthropy, and that she's moved on and stuff. And Snake very clearly lies to her about his reasons for being there. He essentially says that the UN sent him to, what was it? The UN sent him to investigate as well.
Wasn't it like to inspect like nuclear weapons or something like
Yeah,
that?
he's
That could
essentially
be, that could be real wrong.
Yeah, it's a real George W. Bush scenario. Where
Nuclear.
yeah, Snake got sent in to look for weapons of mass destruction and maybe find some. Probably doesn't. I don't know. But so he just straight up lies to her and says that the UN sent him, and then shortly thereafter she's like, "Wait a minute, who sent you?" And Snake says like, I don't know if he just says Roy or no, he says the Colonel, and like Meryl fucking loses her mind.
Old Duncle Roy.
Yeah. So as soon as Snake says the Colonel, which I mean, fuck, dude, he could have been talking about KFC, like, and Meryl just loses it, and she very clearly knows that Roy is her father now, which I don't remember. Did she mention it before, or did other people mention it before?
Nobody had mentioned. I don't think we had thought about it since Metal Gear Solid 1, because when she gets shot by Sniper Wolf.
Oh, that's right. Roy says it.
Brings it up.
Yeah. I just couldn't remember if she brought it up before. So we finally discover, so Meryl knows. And then, yeah, right as she's flipping out and like smashing tables and fucking punching people, you hear this sound, which we're going to hear a little bit later, but you hear this almost like weird, like sound, and then Meryl like calms down. So I'm assuming that's like the nanomachines kind of like reconfiguring or whatever.
Keep it here.
God damn it, Sam.
I was probably injecting her with that stuff that
It's
calms her down.
But like, I know what sound you're talking about, because like that, it's like that.
Yeah,
sound.
it's like weird. But yeah, so
I don't know what you're talking about. I did
But,
not catch that.
Meryl does go in depth about like the whole system and everything, which is system with a capital S. So essentially, nanomachines can monitor everything to do with soldiers in real time, including anybody who, it seems like anybody who's attached to military activity of any kind. So it's not just soldiers; it's like recon people, engineers, pretty much everybody who's involved in the war economy, or maybe even if you play like Revengeance, it kind of seems like the whole fucking world is actually a part of this system. But essentially, the system monitors everything, and through the ID tags and through nanomachines, like they can even monitor your fear level, your sweat, like your heart rate, like where you are, who you are, everything about you. So kind of playing more into the MGS2 kind of information control. The system's core AI monitors everything and relays it to the U.S. military, state armies, PMCs, police agencies, pretty much everybody. Permits don't allow for PMCs or anyone else to do anything they're not approved to do. So like there's 24/7 monitoring, and in order to be given permission, you have to be cleared. So you can't just like fake your way in anymore. Which sounds a whole lot like internet and social media trade-offs. It's like, to use this cool shit, you have to like give up your personal privacy. And so Meryl puts a large emphasis on how like nobody can break through the Sons of the Patriots system, which I thought was funny because SOP is also short for Standard Operating Procedure. And essentially she tells you there's no way that an insurrection or a terror attack could happen, which is like the biggest like. There's never going to be a terror attack. Like, it's like, all right, and the countdown timer for the terror attack starts now. Like very, very clearly, you're like, I don't know. But the real standout
When you
here.
call something anything proof, like that's just a challenge for people to then break it.
Right.
Yeah. Like, when she said that, I heard Sam say, cue it here. And it was just like, oh, shit. But, like, the last thing that she mentions before we kind of go into, like, boss fight shift is that Snake essentially says something about the Patriots. And Meryl's like, Lalilulelo, what's that? And Snake just, like, lets it hang. So, like, he never follows up. Which we'll get to that as we continue as well. But yeah, I will say this one more thing about Roy, which I thought was really funny. Roy apparently remarried to a very young woman with a kid, and Meryl just like loses it about that. And I was just like, my immediate thought, like having played, like I know what the fuck's going on, but my immediate thought was just like, whoa, Roy, like what up?
What up?
Game recognize a game.
That's right.
Dude.
This is the real world.
Yeah, but good old sniper and communications man Ed says that the sensors are picking something up and that there's 20 of them, and then says frogs in all capital letters. So and then go ahead.
We also discover here that Johnny has alerted a very elite group of foot soldiers through the glint on his binoculars.
Oh yeah,
Johnny.
During this huge conversation about how everything's connected by nanomachines and nonsense,
And
like
magic.
they're cutting, and magic pretty much. They're cutting a couple times to Johnny looking out the window with his binoculars and showing very, very directly showing the fact that it's glinting off of the thing, off of the light, and
It's that 6-cell processor in action, man. That PS3.
and then they definitely yell at Johnny.
And
for
Meryl
alerting.
lays her hand on him. She
Oh,
gives
no.
it to him.
This is not the first time either. There's a real BDSM relationship with these two.
Yeah.
He likes it.
Ooh.
Can't wait until Act 5.
Oh, I know, right? But yeah, so right after a sweet product placement MacBook Pro shot,
Yeah.
Liquid's private troops show up. This reminded me of like the Jabberwockies showing up or something.
What?
They just like real chill, like breakdance slide off the roof.
do.
Like I immediately was like, what? Like it was intense until they just like got real goofy with it.
Synchronized.
Yeah, but this
America's next top military crew.
but yeah, so this essentially acts as the boss fight for Act 1, because there is no final boss for the act. So this is kind of our mid-boss. Essentially, it's actually pretty easy. The Rat Patrol and Snake have to just kind of fight their way through the building. Yeah, how'd you... I guess let's just totally talk about how the encounter went down before we get to the hole with the laser grid. How'd you guys fare here?
Totally. For me, so this whole time up to this point, I had the rifle out and I was just blasting people, just no regard for human life, right?
Oh my god!
Hell
As you do.
And I don't know what happened, but I was like, man, I'm gonna try using the Mark II and see
What
how
now?
far I can go. I
now
didn't
that
realize it was
everybody
gonna be
sees
a
me.
boss, or I don't know. I guess you could call this a boss, but I didn't know it was gonna be this. So I just picked an arbitrary moment that I was gonna switch over to the Mark II, and it happened to be here. But it actually wasn't bad because it's weird because when you if you're out of their front view, I guess they can't see you. I don't know how that works, but like I would be right next to one of the frogs and they would just be totally oblivious to me. And then I
I
would
wonder if
just,
they just like had the aggro pulled by the fact that there was like a squad of 4 people shooting at them. So like they're not really paying attention to you, I guess.
it could be. I just thought it was
Bad
really weird
situational awareness.
because I was really close to one of them, but kind of to the side, and they had no idea. So I was like, all right, I'll do it. But it was kind of creepy because when you shot them and killed them, they screamed, and then they disappeared in a cloud of smoke and light, and it was very creepy to me.
Yeah, I felt bad because like a couple of them that I would trank would just fall asleep and everybody would leave them alone and we'd keep going. But there'd be a couple times where I'd like headshot tranquilize one of them and then the rat patrol would just like fucking light them up. And I was just like, wow, they fell asleep and then were instantly like murdered.
Sometimes that's the best way, yeah, you know?
Like that weird, like, scream thing.
Yeah.
You think that's why they're called frogs? Because, like, they make that weird noise when they scream? When they die?
Oh, I don't know. But yeah,
Do they?
they're very clearly women underneath because if you
Yeah.
punch them or shoot them, you can hear like women's voices.
So are they actually women, or are they some weird cyborg thing
I
with
have
a
no
sick
idea.
woman voice?
They're whatever you want them to be, big boy.
Yeah, big boss.
Dang.
Big boss. God
Big
damn
boy
it.
boss.
But yeah,
Big boy, big boss.
I felt real bad at one point too because I realized I was standing up and Ed walks past me and he goes, "Get down, old man." And I was like, immediately, like I just paused it and was like,
He cried a little.
like poor Snake. I'm gonna be forever for the plight for like poor old Snake.
Poor old man.
Yeah.
Uh.
But Sam, what else? What else you got for us?
I didn't have too many issues. Of course, you know me, murdering indiscriminately, so I just kind of took him out with my gun. It was actually kind of fun. Like, it was fun. It was, like, the first, like, real test of, like, the new mechanics for me as far as, like, combat went. And it was pretty fun. Like, it controlled pretty nicely. Didn't really have too much trouble, and it was fun to just kind of run around and let loose, you know?
Yeah.
Let
Well, the
loose.
other cool thing too is like this doesn't count as a alert. So you can pretty much just like do whatever the fuck you want. It's pretty fun. Because like yeah, you're just like from the moment the encounter starts, everybody knows what's going on, so you don't have to worry about triggering an alert sequence or like hiding or anything like that. It's just kind of like blast your way out of the building, which is pretty interesting.
That's pretty cool.
But yeah, I will say this too. So not only can you trank them or kill them, but if you CQC slam them, so if you like walk up to them, and I think it's if you just press R1 when you're close enough with a pistol equipped or something, Snake, and you're holding a direction at the same time, Snake will just like slam them in that direction, and the moment they hit the ground, they like pass out and they're kind of incapacitated as well. But I still had the Rat Patrol just like walk through and just start shooting people that were knocked out on the ground. I was like, you guys are ruthless.
It's okay. It's not a kill for you.
That's true.
Well, Meryl
so-
did say shoot first, ask
That's
later, or
true.
something like that. So
That's true.
just follow
I got a little-
orders.
I got a little too gung ho with my CQCing though at one point because I went to CQC one of the frogs and they like reversed grabbed me and I was like, oh shit, and they like
Dang.
jump over you and like grab you. It's super intense. Like they just like grab you from behind and start like choking the shit out of you, so you have to like wiggle the left thumbstick to get out of it. But it was pretty cool. The animations and stuff looked really cool for it. I definitely noticed too that when you put them to sleep, they don't disintegrate. It's only when they die, which I thought was kind of weird. But I guess if you went to sleep and disintegrated, then there would be problems. So yeah, I don't know. Did you guys notice? I thought there was like some real MGS2 sounding music during the fight. Like,
I
did
didn't
you guys
really
pick
notice.
up on it.
Can we-
A little bit.
Can we
Like
cue
there were
here?
definitely some. Oh man, there was some
I
definite
just want to
like.
hear it.
There's some definite like MGS2 motifs. Like if you remember like the Dead Cell music, or any of the alert musics on the Big Shell. I feel like there's little bits and snippets from that in this, like almost like direct riffs.
Yeah.
I just miss Yell Dead Soul, if I'm being honest.
It's such a good song. But yeah, so anyway, definitely within the midst of all this, and somebody shakes Akiba awake during this like stun grenade bathroom sequence. Dude very clearly shit his pants.
Yeah.
And it's real gross too, because at some point, like, Jonathan just like fucking pushes him through a hole in the wall by like sticking Jonathan's boot into his like shit stain. And I was just like, that's awful. Like, why would you push that all over your dude? Like, that's disgusting. Yeah.
That's gross.
Anyway, we get to the laser grid. Akiba definitely has flies around him, and everybody is confirming that he smells like shit. And he shows up and he pulls out his little handy-dandy QWERTY keyboard that he's got on his arm, and turns off the laser grid, and we all kind of hop back down, and then we're back into the action. If you roll past the hole instead of diving in, you can pick up the GP30 and some ammo and stuff. But if you drop through the hole, like a literal fucking war bulldozer breaks into the building.
A war bulldozer.
Yeah, it's just, and we'll see it later in the act too. It's actually pretty neat, but it's like a bulldozer that's just been like super rigged to not get shot through. So somebody's just like driving this fucking thing into the building, which is intense, and I assume a real thing. But yeah, I pulled a straight nerd move and just ran behind the bar and just like started picking up ammo. And by the time I came back out, the Rat Patrol had like killed everybody. So I was like, okay. And then we have this little cutscene with the elevator door, where the Rat Patrol drops down the elevator door, and this is where Jonathan kicks Akiba right in the shit. And then Snake puts on a finger mustache where his normal one is to like block the smell, like a fucking straight pro.
It was great.
And it's really awkward because it cuts to gameplay for like a split second for you to jump into the elevator and then go straight into a
Goes to
cutscene
another
again.
cutscene.
Right, it's fantastic.
Yeah, I was like, all right, cool. I'm glad I got to walk 2 steps. But yeah, so, and then the Rat Patrol enters into this empty parking garage. Jonathan gets shot in the arm, the fellow with the exclamation point mohawk, as we mentioned. And then the frogs show up, and the rest of the patrol group, without Akiba, all trigger their like dope nano machine to like show Snake how dope they are as future soldiers. And they all coordinate, and they, like just by looking at each other or whatever, they all like coordinate and they like do this like real fucking like Agent Smith whatever
Except for
thing.
Akiba.
Yeah, so everybody except for Akiba just like hit these like weird like gymnastics moves and like all kill each other's targets real quick. And Snake just does not look like he gives a shit at all. Yeah, and then Jonathan
The
proceeds.
coolest thing I've seen today.
Yeah. Snake's like, whatever, man. Like, have you ever seen a psychic read somebody's mind while a fucking dinosaur robot screams into the heavens? Like, get out of here. And clearly Jonathan really hates the frogs because he just like shoots the living shit out of a dead one. Snake pulls out his obligatory "I'm no hero" monologue. And some cool music flares up just in time for Meryl to ask about Snake's old man body, which I thought was real funny. He's just like, "I'm no hero," and it's like, bah, bah, bah. And then Meryl's just like, "But how about that old
You're
man
so
bod?"
old.
Yeah. But yeah, so, and I also noticed too, if you look on the shoulder pads for all of the Rat Patrol, it says straight up on the shoulder, like, sneaking suit. So I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, now every soldier has a sneaking suit like Snake did in the older games. So I guess this is kind of like, it's not really state of the art anymore. It's everybody's got it, which is kind of cool. But then Otacon calls and talks about Meryl. Snake shit talks Meryl pretty hard for being all hardened, and he blames it on the system and not... It's got to be the system as opposed to, like, you know, her growing up into, like, a mature fucking woman who has, like, actual desires, Snake. Appreciate that. And then Otacon mentions that child soldiers are, like, even more intense now because of the system. And Snake just says, like, how much better the system is than, like, he straight up, like, shit talks, like, how trendy VR used to be. Which I thought was funny. But yeah, so, and then we're in this palace garage for a second, just long enough to kind of, like, get our bearings. So I picked up the P90s for the Drebin points from the Dead Frogs. It's weird, man. It's so weird how this game is, like, less about problem solving in the middle of like a big issue happening, and it's more about, like, I can press start and buy ammo at any point.
Yeah.
So to me this felt like a, I don't know, like, I guess I'm just used to ammo scarcity since the last game I played was Resident Evil 7, But for me, I was like, this is kind of lame. Like to be, I mean, it's cool, but then on the other hand, it's like I kind of like having to like jerry rig a solution with what I've got,
Yeah.
and I can just like perma refill on tranquilizer darts. So I was a little bummed out about that. But
Did you guys buy any weapons? New weapons?
I
at this
did.
point?
I unlocked some of the stun grenades and stuff just to use like the non. I was just unlocking non-lethal stuff. All the non-lethal shit is actually really expensive because it's like essentially just the Mosin Nagant, which is the sniper rifle tranquilizer, and that's it. Like I don't even think you can customize the Mark II trank pistol. So if you're going non-lethal, you don't really have a lot of options. What'd you guys do?
I didn't buy shit except for silencers for me to murder people.
Dang.
Shit.
Yeah, I didn't. I haven't bought anything yet either. They said
Nice.
something like a little message popped up said everything is like 50% off or 20% off on Sundays and Thursdays. Is that? Did you guys get that?
I think I got it because
Yeah.
I was playing on Sunday as well.
Oh. I didn't know if that was actually true. or
Did you
not.
play? Did you play on Sunday or Thursday?
I can't remember. I don't know.
But we do hear the skin monkey when that message pops up.
Yeah.
It's real creepy.
It is creepy. Skin
He's
monkey.
not creepy.
He's really creepy.
Yeah, he's even James, who was editing the video version of the podcast, was like, "What?" Like before he even got to Sam calling him a skin monkey last episode, was like, "What the fuck is it?" Like he paused it and was like, "What the fuck is up with this like nasty skin monkey?" And I was like, "Oh, just wait." But yeah. So anyway, I could kind of tell that we were gonna re-enter the streets again, so I went ahead and re-equipped my militia outfit just so I could blend in with the militia guys here. So we get to the Crescent Meridian, which is we're back out on the street, and literally a fucking tank shows up. And for a second, I was like, "Oh no!" And then I noticed that militia dudes were on the tank, and I was like, "Oh sweet, this is gonna be great." So essentially, you can kind of hang out here with this tank fight. The way that I went through this scenario is I just kind of went around the outside and tranquilized PMCs throughout to make sure that the tank had a clear path. I got spotted right near the arch, so I had to reset, and I was pretty pissed off. But I ended up kind of going through it again. On my first attempt, I was able to trank everybody and get the tank to the arch, but whenever I had to reset after getting spotted, the rocket dude in the balcony actually blew the fucking tank up, which sucked.
Dang.
But I just tranked everybody and then started climbing around the rooftops, and I got access to my own rocket launcher, the Javelin. And then I kind of helped out and climbed up some ladders through the final push and got to hear a bunch of militia dudes just be like, "Hey man, thanks, great job." I don't know if that was different from how you guys went through. I know I wasn't fucking blasting people to death.
Well, if you recall, I made the militia mad. So I didn't know if it was okay for me to go follow the tank. So I just kind of like very slowly proceeded in the doo-doo drum behind them.
Does that work? They don't.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah, no, it's fine.
I gotta try
But
that.
because like if you get like an inkling that they might turn around or see you, just kind of drop the drum and they just ignore you.
Are you
But it's
rolling?
just-
Or are you like walking?
I'm
just trying to
I would have
imagine.
alerted somebody because they're not moving that fast, so they would have seen me if I was rolling.
Yeah, they would have been like,
This
"Wait a
isn't
minute."
Limp Bizkit here.
Hey, you
Oh yeah.
never know.
Also, I know last episode we were talking about how we had difficulty with trying to figure out how to roll over. So if you're prone, you can press triangle to roll onto your back, and I think triangle also works to roll the drum over. So that's the button if you're not. I don't know if you haven't discovered that.
So for me, I don't know what happened because I was expecting the same result as Sam, where everybody hates me and they want me dead. But I don't know what I did. They all of a sudden were okay with me there. I was like,
Were you in the outfit, the militia outfit, or were you just Snake?
I think I was just Snake.
Oh shit!
I don't
Why was
remember
Why was
changing
I
camouflage.
wasting? Why was I wasting my camo index on that stupid militia outfit?
I was expecting them to like start shooting at me, but they're like, "Hey, Hey, how's it going?
Maybe they hadn't heard. Maybe they hadn't gotten word yet.
They hadn't heard how bad of a guy I was.
They're like, watch out for that old Tom Selleck looking motherfucker.
Tom Selleck. I shaved my mustache, so it didn't.
That's awesome. But yeah, so as we make our way into the sort of courtyard area and I climbed up and went through like a top part, and it cued a cutscene with we see the old war bulldozer back out on the street. The militia makes some progress, and there's a big push down the street into the city center. The bulldozer gets stuck. Something seems to be holding it up. And then a Zoid. And then a Zoid picks up the bulldozer and just starts shaking it and wrecks the militia dudes. For those of you at home who don't know
caught me really off guard.
For those of you who don't know what a Zoid is, and thank you so much. I think somebody on Twitter also called it a Zoid. Zoid is like, I don't know, it's like off-brand Power Rangers, I guess, right?
It's not even. It's like an anime, but it's like
Oh, that's right. It was the 3D
It's like-
animated thing.
it's a 3D animated. Like the people are anime, but like the robots are 3D animated, and they're like mechas, like animal mechas.
It's like
that they
Voltron or
fight.
something.
They don't even combine. They just fucking robot tigers fight.
But yeah, so and the militia guys refer to it as the Beast, and then another one flies by screaming rage, and then another one becomes visible behind a militia troop, and then says "laugh with me," and like grabs him with her Doc Ock arms and just like squeezes dude to pieces. And then like a weird Psycho Mantis looking figure that Snake's just like just shows up and like fucking psychically manipulates people with some marionette strings and just like contorts them in weird ways and kills them, and Snake's just like and everyone's dead.
and just let me throw this out there. This is also like textbook Snake hides in bad places during cutscenes.
Yeah, he's like in the middle of the street, just like standing there like while everyone's getting murdered around him.
Yeah.
So that happens.
Yeah, but like these like, it's crazy that this is happening, and these things are badass. And you get an inkling that maybe you have to fight these at some point.
Yeah, this is kind of like the Dark
Maybe.
Souls intro cutscene pre-start menu, where it's like, look at all of the bosses you'll have to fight.
But like they start to leave, and they all like leave in different ways, and then the one that was puppeteering the guys to death was the last one to leave. Mind you, everybody here is murdered except for Snake, and this creature, this thing, bows as it floats away, which I never picked up on whenever I would play it when I was younger. But now looking at it, it's just like everybody's fucking dead except Snake. These things know you're here.
Yeah, totally. Like
And
they
they're
have
just
to.
demonstrating for you. Like, what are they doing? Are they just demonstrating their power to you? Like, get the fuck away. Like,
Maybe.
come on, man.
Well, they
that's
may even
fucking
just be like,
creepy.
we're like you. You know what I mean? Because like Snake's always. I mean, in every game, Snake's got like a weird group of like lunatic X-Men knockoffs, and I think Snake's like superpower is like he's really good at surviving, but everyone else is like, check out our crazy superpowers. I feel like honestly, as I saw this scene unfold, I was like, dude, Metal Gear Solid 1 and Metal Gear Solid 2 maybe would have been way more dramatic, and maybe would have done a better job of introducing the crews that we were fighting if they would have done like a group cutscene like this, because all of the other games just like intro them one at a time, but I feel like something like this where you see them all come together and like do a crazy fucking thing all at once was pretty cool.
Well, they did the same thing in 3, remember? Because they were all in the fucking helicopter.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, I
The
feel like that
bulging
just would have
eye
been
man.
that would have been super cool for like Foxhound in Shadow Moses to like just do some crazy shit in front of you, and you're like, whoa, who are those people? And then that's when Colonel Campbell's like, you gotta kill him, dude, and you're like, oh no. But I don't know. Anyway, a little Monday
Synergy on the
morning
battlefield, man.
quarterbacking.
Everybody's worried about love blooming on the battlefield. We need to be talking about synergy blooming on the battlefield, goddammit, because
Yeah.
these guys have it.
What we didn't see was like the dope ass like project manager that was like on all of their headsets that was like, all right, now number 2, your turn, step in. and like all the like logistics that were going on. There was some like very good.
Slowly. Now twist his
He
arm.
was telling them. He was telling them to cue it there.
Yeah, that would have been the greatest cut too. Just like a dude in like a tank with a headset that's just like, all right, number 3, it's your time to shine. Go. And just like the whole time he's like back there, he's like, yes, 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 yes. Fuck, you didn't land it.
It's like the Truman Show.
Soccer. Yeah, like it's like a baseball dad. Like there's just like a real angry baseball dad. It's just like,
Oh my
no, my
gosh.
son hit that fucking ball. I don't know. Anyway, just that would have been fantastic. Like I want to know who the Beauty and the Beast core is. Like who's their soccer mom? That's what I want to know.
Who's their soccer mom?
Alessio, you know what you should do? You should make a video. With
Yeah, shoot a short film
just
like that.
Just like cutting away to you
Oh, that'd be amazing. Yeah,
with the headset
I'll
on or
try it.
something.
Let's do this.
Yeah, that'd be a really fun weekend project. If we do it, we'll put it up in the Slack and everything for everybody to see. But cool. So anyway, back to our regularly scheduled programming. Right after the beasts destroy the living fuck out of everything, we hear an announcement come over the loudspeaker that to me was like very ominous, and it was just like,
Yeah.
government control has been restored to this sector, and it's like with the creepy like ice cream music.
Ice cream.
That's what it is. It's like
I
ice
know,
cream
yeah.
van music.
Ice cream
Yeah.
truck.
It's weird.
But I found a bombed out building before getting to the gate with the guards, and it had an iPod song in there. I pressed the X too fast, so I'm not sure what it was. Yeah, I was pretty proud of myself because like I didn't realize there were gonna be PMC dudes here, so I just kind of like ran around the corner like a dumbass, and then was like, oh no, and like real quick dove down and like didn't get spotted, and then I guess I'm so used to like Metal Gear Solid 5 where if you shoot any gun too far, the bullet starts to fall, which is like a nod to realism. With this, dude, if you just line them up in the crosshair, like you can fucking trank people from like 500 yards away with the
yeah, that's
pistol.
awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So it was very like Halo 1 pistol gratification for me. Where it was just like, I got this little pea shooter, but I'm about to take out everybody. So yeah, but I knocked everybody out outside, but I wanted to go through the building and to make sure I kind of got everything. A dude definitely saw me for a second. I was like, huh, what was that? And since I'm like trying to play with like no alerts, I hadn't saved. So I was like, oh shit. And I like freaked out. And I immediately like took a step down the stairs, just laid flat on the stairs. And then my camo changed the moment he came around the corner. And he didn't notice me, and I just like popped him in the face, and I was like, that was the most excitedly happy I'd ever been up until this point. I was just like, yes. But yeah, then you find like a bombed out fountain. There's a bunch of lockers with like a secret back locker. Like I totally like almost missed this. Like there's like a row of lockers, and then there's just one behind them. And there's an M4 suppressor in there. I crawled under some bombed out wall next to another striker and tranked my way into this base area. So before we get into the base area, how'd you guys fare with this like little fountain courtyard and all that?
It's kind of like you said. I saw the guys there, and of course, any weapon is a sniper rifle in this game. So
Yeah. Including the
knock out guys in
Playboys.
including the Playboys, just throw them at people's heads.
Paper cuts.
But kind of tranked them from. I did actually trank these guys, and I was trying to actually like kind of like Isaac. I was trying to slow down in my whole murders fest, so I just picked now to do it instead of in the beginning of a boss fight.
Hey. How was I supposed to know?
Perhaps the very panicked. Somebody's coming.
I really do want to ask you
There's
guys
20 of them.
what is it that made you guys like murder spree up until a certain point and then go, I really gotta tone it back. like what came across your mind that made you want to like, I gotta chill out with this killing?
I can't speak for Representative Lim. However, myself, I was reminded that if you kill too many people, Snake vomits and his psyche goes down by a lot.
That's true. There's an achievement for it.
Yep. So I was just like, I don't want that. So I kind of, I still killed a couple people. Well, okay. couple people because we're gonna when we get into like the camp, I'm gonna. Jesus Christ! So I
What?
tranked the guys.
I feel like you're telling us that you like, I still sneak a couple smokes here and there, but you're just like, occasionally I'll freak out and just shoot a man in the face.
Well, I tranked the guys in the courtyard, and then I crawled under. Like instead of going in that main gate, there's a place to crawl underneath on the side of the gate. So I crawled under that, and I was doing okay. And I was knocking people out, and then the guys, I didn't know how many guys there were. Like guys kept on, like new people kept on showing up and waking up the guys that I was tranking. And
everybody keeps falling asleep back here. What's going on?
And I like ran around a corner, and there was just another guy, and he saw me. So I crawled underneath a tank, ATV or whatever the vehicle was.
The Striker or whatever.
The Striker, yeah. And I was just like, fuck it. And I just started I just started like capping knees from underneath the Striker. And when I was confident that everybody was dead, I got up and I went on to the next area for the cutscene, and I did not realize how close the Striker I hit underneath was to the door of the area where I needed to be. Because literally, I killed everybody. I crawled out from under the Striker, and I walked I didn't even walk. I walked like maybe 10 or so feet, and it was the exit.
So
I
close.
was very close. I could have just like snuck out and ran. Like that's how close I was.
Isaac, how was your experience?
Yeah. So unlike Senator Wright, I was unaware that killing a lot of people had effects on you.
Good old shoot killing.
So I don't know what drove me to be more humane. Maybe it was the screams that haunted me. I don't know.
The
look in
Sarah
their beautiful
McLachlan commercial.
It was the
they
look
played
in their
over the
beautiful
intercom
blue eyes.
in the arms of an angel.
Anyway, but I don't know what prompted me to do it. I just said, well, why not?
I don't want to kill no more.
He found one of the iPod songs, and it was literally just "Arms of an Angel" by Sarah McLachlan.
Ow.
And he changed his ways.
That's what it did. The iPod music it changes people. But actually, this portion I died quite a lot, and I wasn't aware that you could save anywhere and then reload from your save point. So any point from where you start out in the streets, all the way up until I guess the last until you get to the door. If you die, you start all the way back at the beginning.
No.
So I wasn't aware that you could save and reload, and so I don't know. It's not even that hard thinking about it. It's like Five Guys maybe, even
Burgers and fries.
yeah, tasty,
God, I'd kill for some fucking Five Guys right now. Sorry.
yum.
You can go down the street and grab some. I had gummy worms in my mouth. Otherwise, I would have said the exact same thing as you did.
Hey, we can pause real quick, and you can.
Yeah, do you guys want to all
get
go
some?
to? Let's all go to our respective Five Guys while we're on the phone.
Respective Five Guys burger and fries. You
We'll
can
meet
get Skype
up.
on mobile. Let's do this.
But yeah, so this part was kind of frustrating. But I did the same thing as Sam, where I was like 10 feet from the door, and I didn't know it, and I was just hiding and tranking people and waiting for everybody to die or fall asleep.
Oh my God.
Sleep is death.
Yes.
Yeah.
But then I got caught, and I just ran and booked it to a door, and it happened to be this door. So
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
it was
How did
fun.
you tackle the camp, Alessio?
So I got all the way up until the camp, like that Striker part, and I hadn't saved. But I did get through without alerting anybody. So the moment I got to the Striker, I was like, okay, there's gonna be dudes in this little camp. So I noticed one dude from a distance. I put him down with the trank, and then I noticed a dude up in the like little outpost tower, and I like tranked him. And I was like, cool, I think that's everybody. So I was like weaving through, because there's like a little row of tents before you get to the door. So I was like weaving through the tents, and I was like, I'm pretty sure that's everybody, but I should probably still be careful. So I like saw the door, and I kept checking my map because I was like, fuck, how much further do I have to go without getting spotted? And so I was like, there's the door. So I started sneaking for it because there were a couple boxes. And right as I was going to the door, I noticed like I heard like some movement, and I like looked to the left, and some dude literally was coming like right around the tent, and I was like, oh shit. So I just like dove onto my stomach, turned and looked at him, and just like popped him in the head right before. I'm pretty sure it was like the moment I was about to get alerted. And I don't know if he did count as a trigger or not, because like I felt like he noticed me, but I don't know if I saw the thing. And then I will say, when we get to the end and we talk about the stats at the end of the act, I'm pretty sure that motherfucker saw me, which like really pissed me off because I had one alert phase at the end of the act.
Because even if you do alert, if you trank him or kill him, the alert goes away, but I guess it still counts as an alert.
Yeah, and I was pretty bummed out. So, but I thought I got out, so I was like, "Oh, sweet, I did it." And then I went to the door and triggered the cutscene. Guys, we have to let's real quick. We have to make a decision as a group. Are we going to refer to Ocelot as Ocelot or Liquid Ocelot as Liquid, or Liquid Ocelot? What are we doing?
I think that we can get more jokes out of him being Ocelot.
Okay, because the game calls him Liquid, which is weird because the game calls him Liquid, the guides online, and I'm pretty sure some of the text on like websites call him Liquid Ocelot. And then I always want to just call him Ocelot because it's very clearly just Ocelot.
Well, because like this whole deal is just like, remember, like everybody remembers Metal Gear Solid 2, he had the fucking arm, Liquid's arm, and it was like taking him over. And it's just like apparently Liquid has full control of Ocelot now.
Yeah, I guess. Okay, so I guess we can just call him Ocelot.
Cool.
But yeah, so the Mark II makes an appearance at the beginning of the cutscene, so immediately I was like, okay, this is an important cutscene. Like if the Mark II's here, if Otacon's riding shotgun, like clearly something's going to happen. So we're sort of in the HQ of all the PMC people. We see from a distance that like Ocelot is like up in this little alcove area, and we see that he's with somebody, but we're not sure who. And this is like a real weird... It's like
really expanded his self-esteem team here.
Yeah, it's like a self-esteem team of one and this PMC group. Because you don't need... I mean, he's self-confident now, Sam. He doesn't need the self-esteem team.
Well, perhaps he's not, but Liquid is.
That's true. But it's a real like Jill Valentine Resident Evil 5 scenario with this woman that he's with, because they do like a lot to try and like cover up who it is, but like... Isaac, I don't know if you knew the moment you saw her, like who it was, just because they'd been kind of dropping hints earlier.
Yeah.
But it's Naomi, and we'll discover that here shortly.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's Naomi Campbell. But yeah, so apparently, I would say like in the midst of all this shit, like Ocelot turns around, and I'm pretty sure Ocelot like can sense that Snake is here.
Which fuck, whatever, right?
Yeah, with that like weird like man intuition, like, oh, I sense that Sam's somewhere in the building. Whew. Like, I don't know, it's just like very weird. But there's a cutaway shot that shows that the Rat Patrol is kind of like watching from a distance and sneaking up. Meryl calls out to, Meryl calls Snake and says that Kodak calls him, sorry. And that says that she can't help him or do anything, but because she's just here to keep tabs on the PMCs. But this is the point to which she's like, you're here to kill Ocelot, aren't you? And Snake's just like, boom.
Can I call timeout for a second?
Uh-huh.
Did you call her Naomi Campbell?
Yeah. What is her last name?
Because it's definitely Hunter.
Hunter, my bad.
Naomi Campbell is the supermodel.
I'm sorry. I had Naomi's on the mind. But anyway, so supermodels aside. But yeah, so, and then Ocelot tells whoever he's with to activate it. So Naomi, I guess. Oh no, he says it into the phone. He says activate it. We don't know who the fuck he's talking to.
It's like a really sick zoom in on his stash.
Yeah, so everybody's rocking the old man stash, apparently. Which, honestly, Ocelot had it first. So I'm going to give it to him.
Yeah.
But then we hear some mooing in the distance, which I thought was going to mean Metal Gears were coming. But instead, everybody starts acting weird. Including the old Rat Patrol. And it seems like Snake and Johnny are the only ones that are fine. And I assume, and you guys tell me if you've got a different hypothesis, but I assume it's because Snake and Johnny don't have like the new version of the nano machines. Because like Drebin said something about like, oh, you still have that old school like Gen 1 nano machines. So I assume that's why Snake's only like partially influenced by it, because Snake does kind of he's unable
struggling.
to. Yeah.
Johnny's the only one who's like truly unaffected by everything that's happening.
He pooped it all out, man.
Yeah, that's what I was
Commander.
gonna say. Like, I assume he was just like, yeah, they gave me the nano machines, but I shit them right out.
That's how you get out of it, man. You just gotta shit them out.
Yeah.
Just get that desert diarrhea.
What is that guy eating? Can somebody take care of that? My God.
Cup noodles.
Yeah, probably. But anyway, so right here and right now, like the moment Meryl was talking about the system in the earlier cutscene, my immediate thought was like, oh, that's real cool, foolproof, crazy international system. What the fuck happens if somebody takes control of it? And so this is kind of what we get to see firsthand, is like when everyone's entire bodily functions are being monitored digitally, we can see what happens. And Ocelot just fucks everybody up. Like they all start beating the shit out of each other. People start throwing up. People are foaming at the mouth. Snake kind of pushes through all this nonsense, but it's pretty gross.
It's pretty bad. And like, you remember when Meryl was doing all that exposition and talked about how there's no such thing as a terrorist uprising with SOP? Yeah. Well,
this is what it looks like.
See what had happened was.
Yeah. It'd be really funny if, and I guess there's no way to like prove or disprove this, but it'd be really funny if everybody freaked out and started throwing up and beating the shit out of each other. But Johnny actually was affected. It's just that all that happens is he didn't shit his pants anymore. So it's like inverse. Like
he becomes a good soldier.
Yeah, it was weird. But anyway, so Snake pushes through all the nonsense. I would say, as always, which is a norm for the series, the vibrator controls on the controller are fucking great. Like, you can feel all the vibrations of all the subtle movements, and like when people bump into Snake, the rumble is like adequate, but not over the top. So I don't know, it felt really good. Which sucks because I guess when the game first came out, the 6-axis controllers didn't even have DualShock.
Not even a little bit, because like they were trying to, they thought that the rumble would affect the motion part, and then they realized later that it didn't, and that's when the DualShock 3 came out.
And that the motion sucked.
Yeah, so
but
somebody took advantage of it to. I guess they must have done it either with a patch, or maybe somebody did map in Rumble just in case. I don't know. But the Rumble felt good. Snake appears to be, like we said, somewhat affected. The two snakes finally kind of meet, and Ocelot and I would say so. Ocelot looks definitely like Hayachi from Tekken in this. Like 100%. Like the moment they like locked eyes and Ocelot takes his glasses off, I was like, all right, this is where the fight breaks out. But yeah, so Ocelot reveals that he's just obsessed with the same old shit that he's always been obsessed with, which is just surpassing his own origins. Snake discovers that the woman that was with Ocelot is actually Naomi at this point, so the player now knows. Which, like, shit, I guess we have like most of the OG crew back together that's still alive, besides Mei Ling, because she was a voice in 2. So I assume she was a voice in like a secret codec call in 2. So I assume she's still alive, and that we'll run into her at some point, maybe.
And Natasha?
Oh, Natasha Romanenko? Yeah, I don't know. Oh, yeah, I don't know if she appears. But anyway, so one of the flashback scenes that happens when you press the X when it shows up for Naomi is her sitting at her desk in the photo mode for VR missions, which I thought was really funny. But then Naomi just stabs herself with this syringe, and she's like, Snake, if you won't be a prisoner to fate, then go fulfill your destiny, which doesn't make any fucking sense. Snake, if you won't be a prisoner to destiny, then go fulfill your destiny. Like, what? Like, that doesn't make any sense. So yeah, she shows up, jabs herself with apparently heroin, and doesn't know who she is or what she's saying, and says some real stupid shit. And then, as noted by several listeners, the world's quietest helicopter makes its third appearance. Once for in MGS3 and once for, which I never noticed, and we'll talk about it in the side up, but I never noticed this before, but like secret stealthy Otacon definitely flew in a quiet helicopter because him and Snake are able to whisper to each other in the cemetery at the beginning of the game. Like they're just like, "Hey man, what's up?" As a helicopter is clearly like roaring in front of them. But yeah, there's some real
And-
quiet helicopters.
Some pretty hushy helicopters.
Oh,
Some hushy rotors on that helicopter.
And so, like, my favorite thing about this quiet helicopter is that, like, Naomi is somehow on the helicopter first, even though she was literally just standing next to you.
Yeah, she injected herself
really-
with ninja fluid, I guess.
Ooh, ninja fluid.
Yuck.
You're hurting her feelings inadvertently.
Oh no. But
Gray Fox!
yeah, as Sam mentioned, Ocelot and Naomi just roll bounce, leaving all the PMCs to get Kooky for their Cookie Crunch, or Cocoa Puffs, if you will, whatever. And they're just freaking the fuck out. And then we see all these Gecko Metal Gears from before follow the helicopter out. And then Johnny shows up to Snake's rescue, much to the chagrin of me at the time. And then we get to the end of Act 1, and we get hit with our stats screen. So how'd you guys fare? What did your count say?
I forgot to pay attention to it.
Oh no, Isaac, do you remember what yours said?
I don't remember, but I can give you a rough guess.
Okay, so for the listener at home, it tracks playtime, continues, alert phase, kills, recovery items used, weapon types procured, flashbacks watched, and special items used. So Isaac, take me down. So let's say time. What do you guys think your time was?
I remember there being a 4 there because it took me a long time.
So 4 hours,
Yeah,
Sam?
give or take.
Probably like 3:20,
Okay.
maybe.
Yeah, mine said 3:09:07.
Nice.
Continues. How many continues did you guys get?
A lot.
0.
Yeah, I had 0 as well. I'm sorry, Isaac.
What is a lot, Isaac?
Well, I'm trying to remember. What does it continue as in like?
Game over. Like if you
Oh.
died.
I think it was close to 10.
Oh no. My alert phase, as I already mentioned, was just the 1, which really pissed me off. I was like, fuck.
I don't even want to think about it.
Yeah, that one was pretty rough for me.
Because there was a certain point where I just gave up being sneaky and was just like,
Yeah, you gotta
Jeez.
account for me and Sam having 2 forces against us.
We had 2 military mites against us the entire time.
It's true. My kill count, this is actually really confusing to me. So I don't know if I accidentally like somehow got triggered for like putting a dude to sleep. Oh, I think so. I don't know, but like I remember in the main downtown area before getting to the palace, I put 2 dudes to sleep in an alleyway, and then a fucking petrol bomb hit them from one of the militiamen. So anyway, I had 2 kills, which really confused me because I didn't kill anybody, like unless I inadvertently like put somebody to like asleep and then they fell off of something. How many kills do you guys think you had? All right, there's Sam's answer.
I remember at
Sam
one
spelled
point.
his name with Sam spelled his name with the kill count numbered.
No, I remember at one point in the game they had one of those standing rocket launchers. What are those? What are those things called?
Like a little
There's-
turret or something.
It's like a turret, but you drop
Rocket turret.
rockets into it, and it just launches them.
Oh, a mortar.
A mortar, yes. And yes, I remember loading up those mortars
Oh
and
my
destroying everybody. So,
Jesus, it was the white phosphorus scene from Spec Ops: The Line
no,
for
no,
Isaac.
God.
needless to say, a lot of kills happened.
Jesus. Yeah, and recovery items, I just had 4, and then 20 weapon types procured and 22 flashbacks watched. So, which feels like a lot. 22. I wonder if it counted every time I pressed X as one.
Oh,
of those.
maybe.
Isn't that a flashback? Isn't that what that is?
Yeah, but I figured like if you pressed it once, you triggered that scene. So I don't know why it would count every single
Oh.
individual press. Because I'm pretty sure there were only like 4 or 5, so I guess it counted every time I pressed it. Maybe the
Yeah.
individual images counted as a singular flashback.
What are recovery items?
So like rations or
Oh,
noodles or
okay,
anything like that.
I gotcha.
Noodles.
Oh, duh. All right.
Oh, like items that you use for recovery.
To recover.
Yeah. Now I
Hold
get
on, you
it.
lost me at recovery. What does that mean?
Use?
Anyway, but yeah, so
Item.
that's Act 1. Before we wrap up and kind of do final stuff, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of goofy. I was going to ask where you guys thought Act 2 was going to go, but what the fuck? It's anybody's guess. So,
Point, who knows?
yeah. Cool.
Literally, like I obviously know where it's going, but like after like Act 1, couldn't even begin to guess.
Yeah.
Like,
But it was
if I
fun.
playing for, like Isaac, have you played any of Act 2 yet?
No.
So, like, if I said, "Hey, predict what's going to happen in Act 2," you would have no idea.
I would think that it would be a zombie game coming up. And
Sure,
That'd be great.
that would be pretty cool.
But, yeah. So that
That's
concludes Act 1.
Metal Gear Survive.
Yeah. What'd you guys think so far? I dug it. I'm actually kind of bummed out. I really like this like Middle Eastern backdrop. I'm actually kind of bummed out that spoiler alert, Isaac, I will give you this tidbit. Every act is in a different environment, so we don't come back to the Middle East, unfortunately.
that's kind of cool, though, that they do that. Switching it up.
Do you get to
It's
keep-
cool, but
do
like
you
you
get to-
never go back.
Do you get to keep the doo-doo barrel?
I think I can't remember correctly. I can't remember if this is correct or not, but I think that your items reset between acts. Maybe. I think some items
What?
carry over, not all of them, but I don't know if that's true. We'll find out.
That's kind of
I
lame.
missed the doo-doo barrel.
I mean, it kind of makes sense though, because if you're using this bombed out barrel in the Middle East, why the fuck would you like take it on a plane with you to like the next place that you're going?
Souvenir, man. A souvenir.
Well, the way Snake kind of looked at the barrel when he first discovered it, like, showed some kind of emotional attachment. Like, that's textbook.
He really
emotional
did,
attachment.
Yeah, he named it.
Yeah, doo-doo barrel.
Doo-doo barrel.
Doo-doo barrel.
He kind of was like a cat. The way he was inspecting it, he like peered into the barrel.
Yeah. He was like
And,
sidestepping around it too. He was like, "Oh, what you
Yeah.
got here?"
Yeah, he was brushing up against that barrel.
But yeah, so that is Metal Gear Solid 4 Act 1. Thank you guys so much for listening, and thank you, Isaac and Sam, for being a part of this thus far.
Thank you.
But yeah.
Thank.
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 So yeah, let's. So next episode we are going to do listener responses. We'll go ahead and apologize here as well as at the top of the next episode that for the side op for Act 1, due to a scheduling conflict, we're actually going to be recording it the same night that we are currently recording this episode. So if you did want to send in your thoughts before next week, the 9th, we'll save those and we'll address them on the side op for Act 2 as well. So we did get a couple responses thus far, so we are going to talk about those at this I was going to say special op, this side op. But again, due to a conflicting scheduling situation, we aren't going to be able to record next week. So that's on me. So feel free to throw digital tomatoes at me on Twitter at AC Summerfield. Or you can tweet. Or you can tweet at the studio, which is providing and producing all this stuff, Forever an Astronaut, at FRVR an Astronaut. Or check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/Metal Gear Mondays, or Forever an Astronaut STL. But yeah.
Are there 200 likes on that Facebook page yet?
Not yet, man. There's 170. So I was actually going to say, if we get 200 likes on the Facebook page, which, like, if everybody shares this fucking thing once, we'll probably get our goal. Zachary James from last episode is going to destroy a copy of Snake's Revenge on camera for everybody. So
Good stuff.
Get to it, guys. Sam, where can they find you on the internet?
You can find me on the internet at Sanjul on Twitter, SANJUUL. Or you can go to soundcloud.com/radio, right? That might be changing at some point.
Ooh.
Just
Strange.
maybe a placeholder, but
Strange things are afoot.
things are happening behind the scenes. As of right now, there's still only that one wrestling podcast.
You should call it As of Right Now, but WRIGHT.
As of now, right?
Ooh. But yes.
As of right now, just the wrestling podcast, which is still I enjoy, but yeah, things are happening, and they're finally like happening properly.
Sweet.
So, stay tuned.
Yeah, and real quick too, I will say, so Japanopod, instead of being weekly, is going to be bi-weekly, just because we've got quite a lot of shit going on at the studio, and just because we just recorded this episode prior to this. So Nocturnal Transmissions, which is the official Forever and Astronaut studio podcast, is actually also becoming a sort of digital content creation / filmmaking podcast. So if you're interested in asking questions, or if you're interested in listening to get better at producing your own digital content, me and James are going to be speaking. Me and James Reichmuth, we co-own the studio, but we're also going to be having content creators both from St. Louis, Missouri, but also from other places via the magic of the internet, are going to talk about like how to be a bedroom musician, or how to storyboard a film, or whatever, and take your answers and questions and stuff like that on the air. But I wanted to say Japanopod is going to be bi-weekly instead of weekly, because I'm going to be trying to do like a cool video component to it. This next episode coming up, most likely. So this next episode coming up is Hikikomori with me and James from a backlog, and that's coming out. Actually, should be out tonight for Patreon backers, which will be patrons right after this. But me and Sam are eventually going to do a Super Sentai episode, which James has said he wants to be on. Sam, so that'll be fun.
Fuck James.
We're gonna do a Super Sentai like Power Rangers episode, but we're also gonna be doing. Before we do the Super Sentai episode, I'm gonna be doing a couple different. I've got a couple different ideas, but I'm gonna pick one, and I definitely want to do like the like smoking in Japanese culture and like why that's so big. I want to do that at some point, and also talk about some other cool stuff like visual novels and stuff like that. So listen to that.
It's gonna be dope, man. We're gonna lay it down on this episode. I've been watching Kamen Rider X-Aid.
Hell yeah.
And Uchu Sentai Q Ranger.
I have so many questions, Sam.
The current Sentai. So Uchu, it means space.
No, I know, but I meant for the podcast episode. I don't mean like right now.
Oh,
it's gonna be great. It's gonna be like me interviewing
Rangers.
you, pretty much.
Yeah, it's dope. But like the Kamen Rider X-Aid and Uchu Sentai Q Ranger are the current Super Sentai and Kamen Rider series currently airing in Japan. And it's been a very long time since both Kamen Rider and Super Sentai have been good at the same time. That's awesome.
But yeah,
I'm very excited.
We're gonna cast a wide net and pretty much talk about like the Super Sentai kind of like family of style of programming. So it's gonna be pretty cool. But yeah, so and besides that, I wanted to mention as well. So Forever and Astronaut, two quick things. So the B-side every week. So Nocturnal Transmissions is bi-weekly. The B-side to that every week is going to be a new comedy show that we just started called Waiting for Michael. And I like it a lot. It's like a 20-minute-ish podcast, and every episode thus far has been. The premise is that I tell James that I'm never going to leave the studio until Michael Ian Black comes to visit. And James is just trying to talk me into being a normal fucking human being and not an idiot.
So what happens if like it gains traction and he actually does visit? So that's what we want to have happen. So what we're going to do is we're going to start having guests where it's just other people named Michael. And we're going to talk to them about why they're not Michael Ian Black, and how I can find Michael Ian Black. But we're never going to tweet at Michael Ian Black directly. So, like, he's mentioned in the description of the show, and we mention him in the show, and I've mentioned him in some social posts, but I don't tag him. So that's, like, the official, unofficial rule is, like, I'm not allowed to directly tell Michael Ian Black that this is happening. So I'm hoping that he'll at least, like, Skype in or something. That'd be funny. But yeah, so it's a really funny show. You should definitely listen to it. It's pretty short. And we don't have a B-side for Japanopod yet. It's just going to be bi-weekly. But starting in April, I think April 7th is the release date, the Dev Diary official podcast is going to start. And James already has like 3 or 4 guests lined up from like all over the place, like somebody from Chicago, somebody from Phoenix, and stuff like that. And like people who are running indie game dev unions, people that are like running like indie game dev like minority and like feminist groups, and like
other indie game devs in general that are doing cool shit, community leaders, people in the industry. It's going to be super cool. So you should definitely check that out. But yeah, there's a lot of cool shit. You can go to patreon.com/forevernastronaut to be a patron. As little as $1 a month gets you Slack access, but you also get episodes a day early for podcasts only. If we get videos out a day early, we'll give them to you guys as well as a bonus, but that's not guaranteed. And then with the $5 tier, you get access to all of our stuff. And I mentioned this because James and I are doing an experimental comedy show called Whiskey and LaCroix. That is just James and myself getting into some really fucking weird situations, and that is exclusively for Patreon. We'll probably do one episode for free for people to check out, but it's super experimental, super weird, and it'll give us a fun outlet to do some kind of outlandish shit. So if you guys want that, if you want the first season of Dev Diary, if you want to check out pilots for our new shows that we're going to be pitching to our distributor as those become live, before anyone else gets access to them, the $5 tier is going to be what gets you that. So yeah, it'll be great. But Isaac,
What
you better prep between this episode and next episode because you owe the people some tweets.
Yeah.
I ain't owe
And
nobody nothing.
Where can people get you on Twitter if they want to follow you?
I'm sorry, that was out of line. Hit me up at doesn't have a twit. That's a Twitter
Yeah,
thing.
that's literally his Twitter account. So the more followers he gets, the more Isaac will tweet.
Hopefully, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Oh no.
We've
But-
got so he's gotten like 1 or 2 new followers since last episode. Good old Craven Knight follows
Yes.
him on
What up,
Twitter
Craven?
now. There's a guy on there. He's I am Matt F.
Oh yeah, no. So he's I am mad as fuck. Yeah, and he's the guy who I fucked up his name on the iTunes review that I read.
Oh,
So I read it like, what did I say? I think it was like I'm a Mataf or something weird.
I'm a Mataf.
Yeah, but it's I am Matt as fuck. And he's been a
Wow.
fun Twitter convo. So
that's pretty
definitely
funny.
check that guy.
I
out.
like
He's
that.
funny.
But he's got 55 followers currently. Since we are recording the site up after this episode, if he does get to 60 followers before this episode comes out, we will not be able to accommodate that. However, on the next site up, if he gets to 60 followers, he will do another tweet. We'll make him.
Yep.
And every 10 followers he gets, we're going to make him do a tweet.
Whoa. I did not agree
Whoa.
to that.
I don't care what you agreed. This is what we have told the people. And now they're expecting it, and you don't want to aggravate the people.
Look,
Exactly. All
if
two
I
of
hit-
them.
If I hit 100 followers, I'll do the ALS challenge. How
Oh
about that?
no.
You guys
Wow.
hear that? Isaac himself said that.
Is that
We'll do
what?
the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge.
Yep. How many
And-
tweets
2
we gotta
years
hit to get you
removed.
to do the freeze frame bullshit?
Oh,
The-
what do you call that now? What do
I
you call
don't
that?
know. What are those
The
kids
mannequin
talking
challenge?
about?
Yeah,
these
mannequin
guys?
The
challenge.
mannequin challenge.
It'll be.
Oh,
100.
I know a man I can challenge.
Yeah,
All
so every 10 tweets, he's going to tweet something, and then 100 he's going to do the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge, and then that will be his 10th tweet.
That was mainly a joke.
That you're gonna
but-
say every 10 tweets he's gonna do the ALS challenge. I was like,
No, I don't want to
Jesus.
go. I don't want to go too far.
I was like, it's
that's
hypothermia because he keeps
Boom.
getting splashed so much. All right. Anyway, so take us on out of here, boys. I don't know if you guys want to Team Genu this shit.
Team.
I'll take the it's if you guys want to take the
No,
other
no,
phrases.
No, because I needed to do a little psychic
All right.
Suss
it out here.
telepathy with Isaac. So Isaac,
Mm-hmm.
I want you to link into my brain,
Mm-hmm.
and we're gonna say
You
it
have to
at
use the
exact-
SOP system.
Yeah, let's use SOP. We're gonna say the outro phrase at the exact same time.
La la
but we're
la
not
la.
gonna- Yeah,
Wait.
but we're not gonna. You know what it is. What we always say at the end of an episode to cue the end of the
I
episode.
know what it is, but I'm just
Well,
trying
listen.
to get a feel for this. I know
Well, we're
we're
gonna-
psychic and everything, but
We're gonna say it at the same time, but we're not gonna count. We're not gonna do any type of cues.
Can I be
We're
a
just
part of
gonna
this?
Yeah,
You're just
all
gonna
three of
All
us.
three do.
Did I just
No,
cut you
no,
off in the
you.
middle of?
You sit in the corner and you just watch.
Yeah, we're all three of us are just gonna so at the exact
here we
same
go.
time with pure SOP energy, we're gonna say
All right.
the phrase at the same time.
All right, can I get
sinking
just a
in.
moment? I need a moment of silence.
Okay.
Tell me when y'all are thinking about doing this. How long is this?
like that?
All right, here we go.
All right, let's.
Sam,
we are now.
I think
in
I'm in.
sync.
I think I'm in tune, buddy. I feel you, Sam.
Cool. All right.
What about me? You feel me?
Yeah, I feel you.
It's just a box.
It's just a box.
It's just a box.
Me and Isaac did it. At
We
the same
kind
time.
of did it.
Me and Isaac got it like right on. Like as I was like forcing the words out of my mouth, I heard Isaac in my ears, and I was like, "That a boy, Isaac." I feel like we were in
I
a
was
weird
like-
Mexican standoff.
It was really weird. Like I was like holding my breath the whole time and like
I was
trying
too,
to get
yeah.
the words out as fast as possible.
Yeah.
It's just
That was
fun.
great, you guys. We
Yeah.
held in there for the very awkward silence, and thank you, listeners at home, for also doing the same.
They said it at the same time as us too because all of the world is on SOP.
That's true.
And if you didn't, then what the fuck, Johnny?
Just a box.